All right, I know what this is. It's pretty cool. I don't know if anybody else has had an opportunity to get a package with this tape on or not, but let's go in and out on the workbench and I'll show you what we've got. Hello, I'm Robert, and you're welcome here in my busy little shop. On today's episode, What's on My Workbench, we're going to open up this package. I've been waiting for this package for quite some time. I'm excited about what's in here, but it's probably easier just to show you what's in here than describe it without opening the box, obviously. I appreciate you taking time to be with me in the shop today. Let's get over here on the workbench and get started on this project. So let's take a look and see what's in here. I have never ordered a project kit from Maker's Leather Supply before, but I'm assuming that it's going to come something like this. These are the materials that I have to get ready for a class I'm taking that Aaron Heizer is teaching. And I'm super excited about taking the class with Aaron. I've met him a few times at the shows, talked to him a couple times on the phone. I've been in their shop, and Aaron's a class A guy. He and Don Gonzalez are really, I think, a lot like what you would see on the YouTube channel. So what I have signed up to do is to take a class making a canteen purse, and it's got piping on it. To be honest, that is one of the major reasons why I took it, is because of the piping. I don't know why I should feel intimidated by that, but I'm somewhat intimidated by doing a project with piping. And so this piece of leather here, or pieces of leather, are the items that I have to get prepared before we go to, it's going to be in Pendleton. So I guess might as well say it now. This is kind of the first time I've officially announced it, but I'm going to be going to the Pendleton Leather Show. It's at the end of the month, end of October, and hopefully, some of my viewers are going to be there. But to get ready for the class, there is tooling here, and we need to complete this tooling for the for this canteen purse. So the first thing I need to do is going to be to tool this outer part here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer that onto some vellum, and then I'll wet the leather and transfer the pattern on here so that I can cut and tool this design. The next thing that I need to do is to tool the strap, and here is the shoulder strap. I guess I'm supposed to just repeat this pattern. It doesn't really say, but I can repeat this pattern here and put it on the shoulder strap. And I'm assuming that we use the whole length. It says also matching tooling shoulder strap, please. I guess there's no other information. It was just that in the class sign-up that we would have to complete this work beforehand because there wouldn't be time in the class to do the tooling. And it's more about assembling the bag. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself a pattern of this. I realize it's here, but it's going to be easier to scribe it on. And I might go ahead and cut some other components out of the same thickness of leather so that I am prepared to maybe make a second one of these. And if anyone's wondering, this is some 4.5 ounce leather. So it's not going to take much to get this tooled. This is fairly thin for tooling. And then the strap on this is a 9 ounce piece of leather. And I'm not sure if this is a peachy or if it is Herman oak. I know that Aaron likes both of those for tooling. I think he likes the Herman oak the best, but anyway, I think this should give us a good start here. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy this, trace this onto some vellum or translucent vellum sheets, and it will allow me to then follow that pattern and see the leather beneath it, and I'll be able to put my marks on. And if you've watched any of my tooling before, this is how I usually get started. So let me just do some of that busy work of getting this pattern onto there. You could also copy it onto vellum if you've got a copier, but I don't have a copier available to me right now. So I will just put this on here and trace this all out with pencil. And then when we're ready to put it onto the leather, then I will come back. All right, so I went ahead and traced that pattern onto my vellum so that I can follow along there. And you could probably do it with paper on there and follow these lines as well. And then you can reprint or copy these multiple times if you're doing more than one. But I went ahead and put it on my vellum. And the one thing, it looks like when I copied it or traced it on the vellum, let me get it lined up on here. It looks like I didn't get it centered exactly here. So there's a couple things there I wanted to address. One is in Don Gonzalez's class, he recommended that this border here, which will be beveled in, he recommended not tracing that on. What he recommended doing is doing all of these interior lines and then going ahead and using a wing divider here and doing a crease. That will allow you to have an even line around there, even spaced, so you don't have that variation. And so what I'll do is I'll do that. And then when, like these lines that come out here to the edge, if I'm, say, a little bit short of where that scribe line is at, then I can just continue those out past there. I think that's the easiest way, at least for me to do it. That's how I would do that. And since I got off a little bit here, I'm going to start, on one side here. And as I come around, if I need to, I can shift my pattern slightly to get centered or recentered in that case. And I'm a little bit small on the vellum here, and so there's just a couple lines to continue on there. And I went ahead and did a practice piece here on the tooling for the strap. And the strap, this is it here. And this is the pattern here. So what I'll do, obviously, is just continue overlapping it and scooting it down. And I did a practice on that. And then on the strap as well, I lined the back here with some packing tape. I did it there, and I may be repeating myself, but I also put it on the back of this piece here. This center piece, I just left it in there to help me with spacing, help maybe give a little bit more support so that the pattern or the leather here doesn't move as I tool it. This piece is used as a backer on the decorative leather that's going to go in the center, and this will help give it a more of a raised look. So that's coming. That'll be part of the assembly. So the next thing I need to do is to get some moisture introduced into this front piece and get ready to transfer my pattern so I can cut the pattern in and start tooling that. So I'm going to go ahead and just use a sponge, introduce some moisture. This leather, once again, I think I said earlier, it's pretty lightweight. It's only 4.5 ounces, so it won't take a lot of moisture to get it ready to be tooled, nor will it take a lot of depth. So I'll need to be careful that I don't cut through with my swivel knife. All right, so I'll be back here in just a few minutes. So I have a little bit of moisture in the leather now. Let's see if we can get this transferred. And I want to get the top square parallel to that edge. And I'm looking at this pencil mark here and here to make sure that I've got that set where I want it. I think I'll start on this near side. So it looks like I'm pretty well centered. When I get around here, I need to shift a little bit to the left. I'll put a couple weights on here. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I've got a stylist here, but I've got this sharpened pencil. I think I'm gonna go with that. And I'm saying it again mainly for myself. I'm not going to do this outside edge here. I'll set that with the wing divider. So I'm just going to follow along here and get this pattern transferred. I'm really looking forward to the class with Aaron. I've met Aaron a few times, and I've been in his location. Now, he wasn't there when I was in the location. It was during the Heart of Texas Leather Trade Show a year ago this last August. And, you know, he's always busy when he's in his booth at the trade shows. I see him at the Prescott Leather Trade Show and once again at the Heart of Texas Trade Show. So I'm looking forward to, you know, getting a little bit of time to, you know, talk with him and get to know him a little bit better here in Pendleton. And I reached out to him and told him I'd like to interview him on my YouTube channel. So if you've got some questions you'd like me to ask, maybe things that you want to know, put them in the comments here and I'll try to make a list. And I told him, you know, a little bit of what I wanted to ask, you know, when he's at Pendleton, you know, for the interview. But, you know, we can adjust and add a couple other questions. So like I said, if you've got something that you think would be interesting to know, then, you know, put that in my comments section here. So I'm going to shift here. I'll make sure that my pattern is transferred here. See if I'm missing anything. It looks like, oh yeah, I missed this area here. Or it didn't transfer well, one or the other. And I did case it, like I said at the beginning. It's probably a little bit on the dry side for tooling, but I thought it might work better for transferring the pattern. That looks pretty good. So I'll be back here in just a few minutes once I get this pattern transferred here. I'm going to do the belt, or I shouldn't call it a belt. I'm going to do the shoulder strap in much the same way. So I'll be, I don't see a need to include you along on that part of it. Let's go ahead and do that edge work now. This represents the barrier or the border here. And I just took this off of the drawing that was provided. And he's got a few places where the pattern exceeds or goes into the stitch line, which is kind of a cool look as well. So if you're wondering about some of that, like here, I'll stop there and then I'll pick it up on the other side here. You can see the pattern. It starts to disappear when the leather dries, but you'll see pretty well obvious here. Get a little bit of moisture in it. I'll let that sit until it starts to get close to its original color, and we'll come back. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and sharpen my swivel a little bit here. So I guess I'll start over here. And I don't know that you necessarily have to follow a certain way of tooling. I think you have to go with what's comfortable for you. And I do rotate it. You know, you can, like here, you can push away. But you have to figure out what works best for you to keep the flow working. And I watch Bruce Cheney quite a bit, and you know, Bruce starts off, as I understand it, most days with a little bit of a tooling exercise to get him, you know, kind of acclimated to the day, or set, you might say. And obviously, if you were tooling a saddle or something, you might, you know, be more focused on not rotating your work. But I think it's, at this point, if you're just beginning, and I am, I don't profess to be a tooling expert here, so please don't, I mean, you can criticize if you want, but don't take everything I do as the gospel way that it should be done. You have to figure out what works for you. And I think even with that said, you know, be flexible to trying different ways. If you see someone have a suggestion on a different way to do it, then, you know, you can always try that and see how it works for you. And I think, you know, you should practice, probably come up with your own style. Don had a lot of good suggestions on things to try on floral carving and things not to do. But even he would say that these are the ways I'm teaching you how I do it, and not telling you that it has to be done this way. That's not a hard, fast rule about how it should be done. There are certain lines that he likes to cut first in a pattern, and part of it is to help him to you know, be prepared for the tooling phase of, you know, the leather work. And I hope I don't come across as being, you know, the expert on how you must do it, because, you know, up until February, about the only tooling I had done really was some border work, and hadn't really, well, I shouldn't say I hadn't tried any floral carving. I had tried floral carving, but I would say I had no success in it. And, you know, most of the pieces I would just throw away after I got about a third of the way done with it, because I'm like, I got mistake after mistake. I've got a couple mistakes in this already that I see, and as I'm talking here, I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to cut out another piece of leather and start over, or if I'm going to just incorporate those in. And that was one of the things that Don talked about, that when you're looking at, you know, a master leather worker, I am not. But when you look at one, they know how to hide the errors in their tooling patterns. And I'm nowhere near that yet. So I'm good at making errors. I haven't figured out how to hide them yet. Or I'm still learning, I should say. Anyway, I just kind of prattle on here. I'm just about finished here. I'm going to go ahead and finish on this. I'm going to think about whether I'm going to start over here or not, but like I said, I probably won't. And yeah, so I'll wrap up here, and I might as well, while I'm cutting, just go right into doing the shoulder strap. So I need to case that and get the strap cut in as well. And then when I get ready to do the tooling, then I will return. All right, so I am ready to start my tooling on here. Just building up a little bit of moisture in the leather. Once again, it's not terribly thick, so I'm probably telling myself that more than anybody else, but it's not going to take that much moisture in here. And I also need to kind of be a little bit gentle when I'm tooling, so I don't tool through, especially with things such as lifters. I think I've already mentioned it, but it's worth repeating. My tooling, I'm just kind of bringing you along on my journey to learn how to tool. My tooling is not, if anything, I guess the way I say it, I'm here to encourage others, to show you what I can do, and to encourage you to get out and see what you can accomplish as well. And I'm pretty sure, I think I mentioned it already, but if there's a class that Don Gonzalez is teaching this next February in Prescott, I think I'm going to sign up and take another tooling class with him. And I'm just going to go through here and a few of these areas where I know I can get a little bit of lift in it. Like I said, the leather's fairly thin, so I think it's going to be hard to get much lift. The leather that I learned how to tool with Don on was 12 ounce, and I think I measured this, I can't remember now, it has slipped my mind, but it's somewhere around 4.5 ounce, which is pretty lightweight to accomplish much lift. I'm going to let this dry a little bit. I think I'm a little bit wet here to get the results that I wanted. So I'll be back here in just a little bit after it dries some. All right, so got some of the moisture out of here. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on with my tooling. I'll freshen up this spot here a little bit. And as I said, this is really just more of a letting you kind of see what I'm working on here. And I'll have more a review of the whole deal when I finish the class with Aaron. And shoot, it's going to be here before you know it. I'm going to go ahead and work on my edge here. I realize I didn't do that. Sometimes that makes a little bit of a challenge if the tooling has been completed before the edge. And some of the edge I'll come back and tidy up once the tooling is complete. I was excited. I don't know if I've mentioned it yet already, but the event coordinator given me permission to do some filming at the event. And last year I was able to bring you along on my Don Gonzalez tooling class, and I'm hoping to bring you along for parts of this. Obviously, I don't want to encroach on anybody's privacy, and so I'll be, limiting the camera work to just what I'm working on, and won't be using any sound from the classroom. Like I said, my intention's not to take away from anything Aaron's trying to do or other people are trying to learn, but just to bring you along to share that experience, because I know there's a lot of people that don't live in an area where they can get to these events. Well, there you go. I've got a good start on it here. I'll give you some updates. I'll put some teasers in some of the other videos. I really do hope I'm able to bring you into the classroom as we continue to work on putting this together. I need to finish my decorative cuts and some of the tooling here yet. And then I've got to decide how I want to dye it. And I may go in the areas here that are bar grounded and dye that darker. I've never really done much of that, but I might also just go ahead and complete an antiquing on it instead. Really, my goal of this class is really, and it's probably not that difficult, but to install piping and do all of that on a bag. I've never done any of the piping, and I need to purchase probably the piping foot. I think it would be a lot easier to sew on the Cobra 26 with that. So I appreciate you taking time to be with me on this journey that I'm on here to working on this bag. And I'll continue my tooling, like I said, and share that with you. I appreciate you being here. Please like, share, and subscribe, but more importantly, I hope you have a great day.